Sometimes when you give a gift, you just get it right. Hey y'all, Beth here with Dots and Beyond, back again with another bullet journaling video. This one is very special to me because I made it for my eldest son for Christmas. I chose this beautiful Archer and Olive fox journal because the fox is his favorite animal. I had asked him at one time if he would use a bullet journal, and he said he wasn't quite sure what his aesthetic would be, and so I decided to go ahead and make him one to see if he would use it based on all of his favorite fandoms. In order to fill in the entire year of 2021, I did choose the Archer and Olive journal with 192 pages. He does have very small handwriting, so each week has a dedicated single page, not even a full spread, just one page. And let's get started. I am leaving the front page blank for him to go ahead and put his own name and contact information in. The rest of the setup is based off of his love for the fox, winter, and the moon. So this is his cover page, and then I wanted to get him started off with a quote. This one is from The Little Prince, and it is, "People have forgotten this truth," the fox said, "but you mustn't forget it. You become responsible forever for what you've tamed. You are responsible for your rose." And so I put that next to his key page. Moving on, I set up obviously his future log for all 12 months of the year. And here I put in a lunar calendar for him. He's getting into tarot and the moon and loves these sorts of things, so I wanted him to be able to see that. And because he has never bullet journaled before, I did put in a quote page that reads, "And suddenly you know it's time to start something new and trust the magic of beginnings." That is next to his year in pixels or mood tracker. I thought it would be a little too much if I put a mood tracker in every month, so I went with the year in pixels theme for him. I then gave him a very loose goals page where he can come in and fill in goals for different aspects of his life for 2021. There are personal, career, physical, spiritual, relationships, and home. And then we jump right into the first of his fandom spreads for the month of January, and that is the movie Treasure Planet. I had no idea how the quote, "You're gonna rattle the stars you are," would affect him, but that is the moment that I knew he was really going to treasure this gift. January calendar for him to record important dates. Habit trackers that he can choose how he wants to fill in himself, followed by, again, I mentioned he writes very, very small, so he has 1 week per page. I mostly followed a black and white theme with one accent color. This color I chose off of Morph. They're the little creature in Treasure Planet. Here are the rest of the weekly spreads for January. An ideas spread, which is a brain dump spread, as well as lyrics from the main song from the movie. And then we're going to jump into one of my favorite spreads for February, which is RuPaul's Drag Race. If you watch Drag Race, you know Ru likes to say, "If you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love somebody else?" And I felt like that was appropriate for him for February. In that vein, I wanted him to have a place where he could record things that he loves about himself. So using this 1 word a day format, I created a spread where he can record his charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent next to his habits page. Following the fabulous Bianca Del Rio on his habits page are his weekly spreads. And this is a good place for me to note that I am not a fantastic artist, although I am a pretty good copier. And I will make sure to go ahead and link below the names of the artists where I drew inspiration. Most of the Rupaul spreads came from the same artists, but I do want to make sure we give credit to everyone that I drew inspiration from for the entire book down below. He also has a playlist and a review, which I tried to put on most months. And then moving into March is his forever favorite video game, Metroid. This was one of the most challenging for me to research and come up with ideas to do for the spreads. Again, I did stick with mostly a large calendar for him. This brain dump page and habit tracker is based off of the view inside Samus's helmet, which he really liked. And then we roll into the weeklies with some simple artwork and plenty of space for him to write down what he needs. This is a recreation of a fabulous painting that I found on Pinterest. Again, I'll link the artist below for you. And then the playlist and his review before we move into April. This April spread is special because my son and I both have a mutual love of Phantom of the Opera. He does have a musical theater degree. It is his passion. Of course, that's something that's very difficult for him to pursue in this time of a pandemic, but hopefully we can get back to theater soon. I chose the accent color red, obviously to match with the rose. That is a recurring theme throughout Phantom of the Opera. My son also has a mild obsession with fans, and this was the perfect spread to slip it in on, was for Masquerade and his weeklies for Phantom of the Opera. And again, the playlist and the April review. Moving on to May and this fashion-inspired spread, my son has started collecting artwork with silhouettes of these amazing fashion ladies, and that's what I call them. I call them his fashion ladies all over his wall, and I thought I would give homage to those. Here's his habit tracker and this fabulous quote from Coco Chanel. And then into the weeklies, with these lovely fashion ladies hanging out in their drinks. And the wrap up for May. June is my son's birthday month, so I chose Gemini to represent this month for him. Constellations and stars are always a fun theme to do in a bullet journal. I do have an Archer and Olive Neapolitan notepad, and that is where I got the black paper for the black spreads. I did print out his natal chart. I did not draw his natal chart. I printed it on sticker paper and put it in here, and then left him a page to write any notes regarding his star sign. Again, I thought this would be a good place for a circular habit tracker, trying to change up the way that his pages look, and the weeklies for June. And his brain dump page. I particularly like that Gemini symbol down there because it actually looks like him. And I wrapped up the month with a playlist and review page for him. Next up, July is dedicated to Kylie Minogue, who happens to be my son's favorite diva. I say that with little exaggeration. According to his Spotify Unwrapped, he is in like the 0.01% top tier of her listeners on Spotify, which I think is just crazy. What I did do differently on this spread was to utilize stickers. So just about everything you see on these pages that has her likeness was printed onto sticker paper and then cut out and put into the journal. I simply was not going to take on drawing Kylie Minogue and mess that up for him. The weeklies have some but not all of her album releases in order of release. And of course I had to put a Kylie quote in here for him too. And then I just decided to make him a fan page. So this was designed in Photoshop. Again, I printed it on sticker paper and then put it right here in the middle of his journal. And as always, ending up with a review page. Next up is August, celebrating another one of his favorite films, Labyrinth, starring the incomparable David Bowie. I can tell you that my son makes a great David Bowie. I will insert a picture above of him dressed as Jareth in costume for Halloween. It's one of his favorite costumes, and of course, as a theater kid, he does not go in halfway on costumes. He goes all the way in. This habit tracker was fun to do, but tedious, I can tell you that. And then, of course, he's got to have space for his weeklies, which I kept a little bit more minimal than I have in some of the other spreads. And you can't celebrate a music-themed movie without putting in a good playlist spread. This one's starring the Fireys, which is the official name for these characters. We've just always called them the Chili Downs. And then, of course, his brain dump and review page with the crystal ball, Babe with the Power. And September takes us into Super Mario. This is the spread of the hand cramp. I chose to draw this brick all the way across the bottom on every spread from beginning to end. It looks great, but it definitely wasn't fun to do. I then had to come up with unique ways to display or separate the days on the weeklies and still make it look like it was possibly part of the game. There is enough space though for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You'll also notice that this spread has more than one accent color. I did choose to go with the blue, yellow, red primaries, and then green. You can't do Super Mario without having a hefty amount of green in there. This page, I realized I didn't have Yoshi, and you can't have Super Mario without Yoshi, and you can't have Super Mario without Luigi. And then, of course, Peach and Bowser. Flipping over to start the final quarter of the year, I gave myself a little bit of a creative break for the month of October and went with coffee. Coffee is one of my son's favorite things. He also happens to be a barista, so he really loved this spread. He asked me how I made the coffee rings. I made the coffee rings with paint and the circle lid off of a spray paint can. So that is how I got the look of the coffee rings, if anybody wants to know. And then included some recipes at the top, as well as countries where coffee comes from. The one on the right is Kenya, because that is where I grew up, and so of course I had to include Kenya on the coffee spread. One of the fun spreads I gave him in this journal is a coffee tastings spread. So as he visits different places or we try different coffees that we have bought from different coffee shops, he can record them and rate them here. And again, ending out with a very simple notes and review page. Y'all, I'm trying not to play favorites, but I love this spread. Throughout this spread, you will find the cow, the hare, the shoe, and the cape. If you know, you know. My son has played Jack in Into the Woods on 2 separate occasions. The first was a high school production, but that's where he first fell in love with it. And the second was when he was still in college, but he had to drive an hour, even for practices, in order to be in a community theater version of the musical. Here I created a musicals to watch page. There's still a number of them that he needs to get to or that we need to get to together. And then of course we still need to be a functioning bullet journal, so here are his weeklies. Those are followed up by his playlist. Again, it's a musical spread. You gotta have a playlist and his ideas. And of course, hidden in the woods are the cow, the hare, the shoe, and the cape. Okay, then we are on the home stretch, moving on to December. For December, I chose Jack Frost from the movie Rise of the Guardians. This is also another one of my son's favorite characters. He does a fabulous Jack Frost for Halloween as well. And if you have stuck with me this far, you're awesome. Please consider going ahead and liking and subscribing below. And as I flip over to the weeklies, please remember that I will give as much artist credit as humanly possible in the links down below. I enhanced these Jack Frost drawings with a fabulous stencil that I have to make all of this silvery swooshing wind motion around him. And then again, I gave him a notes page, which I did on every monthly spread for him to have extra space to write, and a playlist and the review. And then because it's the end of the year and we're big music people, I have left a space for his 2021 Wrapped. We're definitely looking forward to filling that in together. and then his 2021 review, which I think he's going to take on himself. I think he's going to fill this in however he chooses to see fit. And being the optimist that I am and hoping that he likes the bullet journal method, I went ahead and put in a future log for 2022, just the first half of the year. And I chose this color scheme as orange because 2022 will be the year of the tiger. Thank you again for joining me for this flip through for this special custom bullet journal that I did for my son. There were tears. I could not have anticipated how much he was going to love this, and I'm just thrilled. Have a great 2021, you guys. Bye-bye.